Hello, everybody. Hello, my friends. How are you tonight? I'm gonna see some comments. Hi, Michelle. Happy you're there, girl. Hi, guys. Thank you for joining me. Hope you're all well. Things are fine with you. Hi, Jill. Thank you, Dixie Bell, for having me tonight. My name is Angela. I'm the owner and creative energy from Elfen Helden. I'm a primary retailer for Dixie Bell over here in Frankfurt in Germany. Hello, Anja. Hi, Melinda. Hi, Ute. Hi, Nina. All the stars are here. Thank you for joining me, guys. I'm happy you're there. Whenever you join me, please let me know where you're watching from. Say hi to me. And if you have any questions, guys, just leave it in the comments. If you watch replay, please put hashtag replay into the comments and so that I know that you've been there. So tonight we are talking about Gator Hide. Hi, Sharon. So I know it has been talked about a lot of times, but I also know a lot of my followers, whenever I say Gator Hide, they're like, ooh, I'm scared. I don't want to use it. You know, it gets streaky and stuff like that. So I think the more often we talk about it, the more easier it is for you to to try it out, because Gator Hide for me is like one of my favorite top coats, especially for pieces which have like high traffic, like tabletops, or if you have a dresser which goes into a household where there's like kids and pets and stuff like that. And we all know as artists, when we do a piece, you know, we would like to save it like for whatever, you know, for the next 100 years or something like that. So this is why Gator Hide is so fantastic. Gator Hide also is a great top coat for outdoors, because it is not only the toughest top coat by Dixie Bell, it's also water repellent and water resistant. You know, all top coats are water resistant. I mean, the top coat satin and the top coat flat and the gloss, they are water resistant, which means if you put a glass on there, there's like some water around, you can wipe it off and that's fine, you know. But water repellent, the cat is just going mental. Water repellent means, you know, if the water stands on there, it's not going to get ruined straight away, you know. So this is why it makes it great for outdoors. It is a little tricky to work with, because you just have like a very short open time to work with it. So it's not that much of a problem when you work with like lighter pieces like this one. But if you work with dark colors, like black, for example, you can see there's like, I tried some top coats on there. There it is, you just see everything on there. So therefore, there's a couple of rules you can follow. So, Jill, you can put it on raw wood, but there is basically the same problem like applying it straight onto the chalk mineral paints, and this is what we'll talk about now also. Gator Hide has a very short opening time, which means when you apply it, it already starts drying. So when you go over it again, this is where you put like the streak marks in. So this is the trouble which happens. So as the chalk mineral paints are open pores, so it's always a difference if you if you have like a sealed piece where the surface is already a little smoother, or if you have like an open porous surface which is a little rougher, you know. That's the reason you don't have to seal the chalk mineral paints by Dixie Bell, but that's the reason. Hi, mein Hase. Bonjour, Marie-Luce. I'm not sure if I pronounced it correctly. I'm sorry. Apologies if I did. Where was I? Because it is open pores, it basically stops on the surface, you know. So this is like, it's like stopping on there, and when you go back and pull over it again, it just takes too long. You have to give it time, even when it's sealed, but when the surface is sealed, it glides over there. Hi Sharanji. It glides over there a lot easier. You know, this is, I mean, I always, whatever, if I work with, this is the same when I work with colored waxes. I also like to seal the piece before, because it is sealed, the paint is sealed, and it's not gripping onto anything. So, and this is basically the same thing happening here. If the paint isn't sealed, it grips straight onto the Gator Hide, and you're not having enough product to move over the surface. So I show you how I do it. There's different ways of doing it. Not saying it's the best way. That's the way it works great for me. So if you're worried about, firstly, if you're worried about using Gator Hide, make yourself a sample board. Just make yourself a sample board and practice on there. You know, this is the best way to try it out before you do it on a piece of furniture. So Gator Hide, as I said, it is the rewind. I got a knot in my tongue. It's the toughest top coat by Dixie Belle. And it also comes, this is the big jar I've got here. This is like 32 ounces. It comes in 8 and in 16, like all the other top coats also. So what I've done to this piece here is I've sealed it with the top coat in flat first. You can take any of the top coats. So you can take the satin, you can take the gloss, you can take the flat. That doesn't make any difference, and that doesn't also change the look of the Gator Hide. You know, it's not making the Gator Hide like flatter than it would normally be, or if you use the gloss underneath, the Gator Hide doesn't get glossy. This you can change, for example, because the Gator Hide is like, depending how you apply it, it can get like, you can apply it to a high gloss sheen. That also works with Gator Hide. So if you don't want that, what you can do, you can, after everything is sealed and dried, hi Rhonda, after everything is sealed and dried, you can put one of the other top coats over it, you know. So if you want to have a flat finish, you just apply the top coat flat on top of it, you know. So, I mean, obviously, maybe that'll wear off after whatever, you know, but you have the benefits of the Gator Hide definitely underneath. And this is what you can do. So that's pretty easy. So Dixie Belle has got also, it's got those blue Gator Hide sponges, they're called. You can see mine is already pretty much used. So I haven't got any new ones left. I'm waiting for the delivery at the moment. So I've got to use my old one. And hi, Vaklina. So, yep, Ute, genau, mit dem Gator Hide Sponge. Der funktioniert wunderbar. Nina, it was my sweetheart's Deckelmanni's birthday on Friday. So last Friday, it's already gone. So, but some people noticed that. So that was last week basically. But thanks for thinking of him. That's sweet. So hi to Denmark. Yes, the blue sponges. I love them. This is my first tool for applying the Gator Hide. You can apply the Gator Hide also with a brush. That also works great. You can apply it with a sponge roller. If you have like a bigger surface or something like that, you can use it also. But for me, you can also apply that with the applicator pads. You know, there's loads of ways to applying it. But for me, the blue Gator Hide sponge is the tool to go for. So you can see this one is already, there's like, you know, some crystals up there. So this is at the moment not the side I'm using basically on the surface because that's a little rough. So this side is still pretty pretty much okay. So, but even so, I don't need to throw that afterwards. You know, if it's really messy or really crusty all over the place, what you can do with the sponges, you can put them into a pantyhose. So put it in there, and as they're very fine, that really does the job. So this is just like a little trick. So, yeah, this is basically my favorite tool to use it. As I said, you can also use brushes and stuff like that. But even so, I would always use one of the synthetic brushes by Dixie-Belle. I would always use for applying a top coat a very good brush, you know, because it gives you the best finish, obviously. I mean, it depends for what finish you're going for. If you want to have like a scruffy and used finish, you might be okay with some, you know, with some strokes. But usually on the top of the surface, we want to have a smooth finish. I just gotta get something to stir. Hold on. So, there we go. Just open it up, be with you in a second, guys. So, with all the top coats and most of the products by Dixie-Belle, stir them up before you use them, so that all the magic ingredients, you know, mix up properly, and you get like the whole benefit of the product you're just using. So, Ute, wenn du andere Schwämme meinst, die sind meistens nicht fein genug. Ute just asked if you can use other sponges. I don't have one here. But if you look at the Gator Hide sponge, it is very dense and it's very, very fine. You know, so if you use like those normal yellow sponges, they are very open pores, and you're not getting that smooth result. You know, so that's the reason. Ja. Oder die gelben Schwämme sind in der Regel zu offenporig. Also der Gator Hide Schwamm, der ist wirklich ganz fein und ganz feinporig. Und deswegen bekommst du damit so eine glatte Oberfläche nachher auch hin. Ja. So, and it is easier for it to hold the product. So, I don't want to make a mess on that dresser straight away. It is, you can see, it is a little milky and it is pretty runny, but even so, it dries really quick. So this is the biggest enemy you're having applying it. This is the reason I always seal it beforehand, and I do 2 coats. I do 2 coats of the, just clean that off. I do 2 coats of the one of the top coats, and then I apply the Gator Hide. So I'm already throwing things around. Guys, you're lucky you weren't here when I've done the preparation. I had to change clothes because I had the bars in the top coats flat. So that was not very nice. But that was a typical me again, however. So I'm just pouring a little bit in here. When I use, you see me a lot of times that I, you know, paint out of the jar and something like that. With the top coats, this is Jill, I'm gonna come in a second too. I don't want to contaminate the top coat, you know, because you may paint some black or something like that, and you haven't, you know, whatever, some of the black gets in there. You don't want to contaminate it. If you put it on a white piece afterwards, that's not very nice. So I'm just pouring. I'm pouring something in here. Oh, yep. Okay, it's in. It's in. It's in. I'm just cleaning it and I'm closing it. This is a new jar I'm using. I've treated myself today. And Jill just asked if you can put it over No Pain Gel Stain from Dixie Belle. So who doesn't know No Pain Gel Stain? No Pain Gel Stain is a wood stain, but it is oil-based. So you normally say oil and water doesn't go. Gator Hide is water-based. Like all the top coats by Dixie Belle, they are all water-based. The No Pain Gel Stain is oil-based. But for sealing the No Pain Gel Stain, one of the water-based top coats by Dixie Belle are highly recommended. So you can put Gator Hide over No Pain Gel Stain. You just got to make sure that the No Pain Gel Stain has at least cured for about 3 to 5 days, rather 5 days than 3. And keep in mind, this also always depends on, the temperature you're working in and the humidity of the air. So it is important that the No Pain Gel Stain has really dried through, and then you can, seal it with Gator Hide. That works perfect. And then you don't need to put like another top coat in between, because the No Pain Gel Stain is pretty smooth also. So there's Mama Bates. You love Gator Hide too. Yes. So that's great. So, hallo Vera, schön, dass du da bist. No, Jill, exactly. Okay, this is, I just said that. You don't need to put a top coat in between, because the No Pain Gel Stain already has like a smooth finish. You can, but you don't need to, so that works fine. Okay. There are people, they like to work with a dry sponge. I like this. This was damp. This was used before, so when I washed it out, this is slightly damp. It is not. It's not dripping or something. There's no water coming out. It is slightly damp. For me, it's I just prefer that it's a little for me a little smoother to work with. But you should not thin the Gator Hide or something like that. You can a little bit when you use a sprayer. It can be sprayed also. You can put a little in when you spray. But apart from that, you don't use any water with it. Don't miss it also when you put it on there, because you're not getting the whole benefit of the ingredients of the Gator Hide. So you can work either. Hallo Caroline. Dankeschön, freut mich, wenn es gut ankommt. The Gator Hide, as I said, don't miss it. You can use a slight damp sponge if you like that, but that's about it. So I'm gonna bring you a little closer now, so you can see what happens. It's, as I said, it's not. Or actually, what we're going to do, I'm going to do it first on that board, because maybe I can speed it up and can show you something else on there. So I just basically dip the Gator Hide in here, so that I have like a good amount of product on here. I'll wipe it on the side of that tray or whatever you've got it on, and then I just grab that board. We just this is one of my sample boards. I'll see if I can. Let's see. Let's go from here. So where am I? Where's the bloody camera? So nobody moves. So when I apply it, I'm not starting right on the edge, because when I start right on the edge, I'm going to pile up the Gator Hide on the edge. I'm starting a little further down. So, and I'm not pressing on it. I'm just like moving the sponge down gently but slow. Then you can go up and down. If you have like same thing, can go up and down. You see, I've worked it pretty quick now, and you can see there's like this skipping happening there. So that's the reason. Put it down, move it slow. My cat agrees. So that's what you do. So reload a little and wipe it off. So you're not having too much on your sponge. So, and I also slightly overlap the rows. Put it down, move it up, move it down slowly but steady to go down. There was a little bit too much on there, so I'm going to move over half that row again and put it down. If there's there's not much product left on your sponge, on the other hand. So if you have like, you can go gently if there's like too much product on there, but don't wait till you have the whole thing finished and then do that. You have to, if there is some of the product built up, you can either dab it off like this, but you have to do that straight away because this is already drying. If I go over here on this side again, I will have get streaks. So I'm going to do that all over that board now. You gotta have a bit of patience. Patience is your best friend working with Gator Hide. So see if you can see that. So I go up here, I start a little further down, move it up, and I go slowly down, finger in the way. So always overlapping those rows a little. No pressure because I don't want to squeeze the Gator Hide out of the sides. So I've missed a spot here. I mean, obviously holding this thing up in my hand is not very helpful. If you have something like that, you may rather leave it and catch it on your second coat instead of going over it again, you know, because when it's already dried, then you're getting the streaks. If it's still wet like this, you could go over it again, but there you can see there's now the streaks coming in. This is what happens. So if you missed an area, bonsoir Jolie. If you missed an area, you rather catch this area on the second coat, you know, this because then you saw this is where you can get the streaks later on, you know. So but apart from that, this looks, even me holding that up in my hand, you can see a couple of areas. This worked pretty well. So it's like balancing the board, you know. I should have had like a nicer area to work in. So I'm going to put that to the side for now, and we're basically going to do the same thing on that dresser now, and I'm going to bring you further down that you can see that a little better what's happening there. Hang on, you're going to go flying, guys. I'm gonna go flying. There you go. There you go. So this is basically, we're doing the same thing on here. And as I said, this was sealed. So this now we can work nicely on there. She already had dinner, Nina. So yes, Nina, our spraying queen is Pam from 44 Marketplace, and she's used it in a sprayer. So if you want to spray, if you need advice for that, go over to her page. She has loads of tutorials. So hi to California. So yeah, coming back on your second coat. Exactly. Yeah, don't overwork the product. That's basically the point. Let's see, we're gonna go up here. So this is now a bigger area we're working on. So this is basically the same thing I'm doing now, and I'm gonna bring you. I'm gonna bring you so that you can maybe see the whole. Oh, what happened? Nobody moves. Oh, and I'll pull the plug. We need some light. There we are. There's the light back. My goodness. So this is tricky. I want you to see as much as possible. It's not that easy. Seeing my wrinkly neck. Okay. I think that's pretty good now. So again, put some of the Gator Hide on your sponge, like wipe it off, and see Instagram. Okay, there we go. So then you put it down. I'm always putting it down a little further on the inside. I move it a little back, and then I move it steady, but slowly down towards the end. This is different than the usual speed painting we are doing. So when I work on long areas like this, I always reload my sponge. I come back, set it up, move it slowly down, overlapping those rows. So there's a bit much product. Pull that off. So same thing. Make sure you have good lighting. Do as I say, not as I do. Don't put any pressure on your sponge. Move it slowly down. You may think this is a bit of slow motion. Seems like I'm putting always a little bit much pressure on when I'm on the end here. So slightly overlap, slowly moving down. You're probably thinking this is going to take ages. If you have like an area where you feel there's like a little bit of product building up, you can go gently over it, very gently to tap it down. So I need a little bit more product. So. And then we can carry on. So there's like when you put all the other top coats, you know, like the satin and the gloss and the flat, they are very easy to use. You know, there's no comparison to the Gator Hide. They're very easy to use. So when you have those underneath, that absolutely works beautiful. So gently but steady moving down. That's basically we do over the whole piece. If you have an area built up, you may go over it straight away, but so almost finished. 2 rows to go. Move slowly down. If you move too quick, you can almost feel it skip, you know? You can almost feel it skip. So. 2 more rows to go. No pressure. Just moving it down. Slowly but steady. And the last row, maybe not down here. I've not been going straight. Obviously, you should try to go straight, which is not of my, obviously not in my, I'm having a problem with tonight, but even so. So that's it. Areas where I think, okay, there's like an area I've missed, but I'm going to leave that. Even this is like, there's too much built up here. I'm going to pull that down a little. So this is now going to dry. I'm going to let that dry. Put that to the side. So you can see it's like almost the whole surface covered. There's like a couple of areas where there is a little, don't know if you can see that. There's like here is a little bit missing and there, but this is what I'm going to catch on the second coat basically. So I'm gonna show you quickly because we still have a little bit of time. Hang on, how do I do that? How do I do that? I'm gonna get my board I just done. I'm gonna get a table because when you, that's basically, oh yeah, okay. That's basically when we go, I'm gonna bring it a little further down so you can see the table in a second. I'm gonna work on here. Put the drop cloth on here just to work on there. So this is the board we've done. I'm going to do 2 coats of Gator Hide and hi Sue. I'm going to do 2 coats of Gator Hide and then that'll be good. If it's outside, you use 3 or 4 coats. And I'm letting it dry usually for about 2 hours in between coats. So a table with cross-hatch wood tiles with pretty deep ridges. I probably would use a brush on that one, Nikki. If you, hi Lenda, thank you for joining. If you have like a surface which is like pretty, for example, this front, I'm going to use Gator Hide on it because this piece is going to go where there's like big dogs and cats, you know, and stuff like that running around all the time. So I don't want anything, you know, also for the lady which gets it, anything to happen on there. So I'm going to use a brush for this, you know, because otherwise you'll have like piles of Gator Hide, which is not, doesn't make much sense. So I usually wouldn't use also a heat gun, obviously, because the drying times of the products, they have their, they obviously have their, how do you say that? They do their duty, so to say, you know. I mean, the drying times, there's a lot of things happening, you know, the paints are self-leveling themselves and also the Gator Hide and stuff like that. So you should let that dry on their own. Don't know if this is going to be fine. I doubt that very much. I should have prepared a board for you. Sorry guys, didn't think about that. So no, Jill, I'm not leaving the edges. I'm not leaving the edges. This won't be dry enough, but even so, I'm not leaving the edges. I'm just not starting right at the edge. I'm starting a little further down and then I move it up because when I put it on the edge, I might just like squeeze or get like too much of the product out of the sponge, and then it's like piling up on the edge. This is why I always, also with paint, when I paint, I start with my brush a little further down and I spread it out from there. So this is the same what I do with the Gator Hide. So hi Beth, thank you for joining. So what you can do in between coats, if you wanna get like a really smooth finish, you can sand. You can buff it. Let's say you can buff it. You have from Dixie Belle, we have the finishing pad, which is like this white pad. You can use for buffing paint. For buffing the Gator Hide, that's for me too soft. This is like a very, 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 very soft and fine sanding sponge, basically. But you can get like a little tougher. You can hear that probably. You can get like little tougher sanding sponges. They are super fine. They are super fine. And they come in different ways. I'm sure you can get those in the UK, in the US, and wherever you are, at the, Hobby Lobbies and stuff like that. They are from a German company, which is like, they do like tools and stuff like that. And this is basically comes on a roll to go on their sanding machines. So you can use those. You can use steel wool. You can use steel wool, but obviously not the steel wool you use for cleaning your dishes or something like that. This is like super, super fine steel wool. I think this is in hi Amber, in the US it's called like 4A or something like that. So no. Anja, also wenn ich Oberflächen mache, nehme ich lieber den Schwamm. So Anja, when I do surfaces like flat surfaces and stuff like that, I rather use the sponge. I prefer the sponge because the finish is basically smoother. As this area is pretty much rough, I prefer basically a brush, because otherwise it will pile up too much of the product. So I see, usually you should let that dry for about 2 hours. We see how that goes now. I just want to show you that you can basically sand that down. And also, before I start sanding it down, I will make sure, I usually make sure that I have already 2 coats of a top coat underneath, because I don't want to accidentally, rub too hard on it and it is cold 4 zeros. Okay, fine steel wool. Thank you, Amber. Thank you for helping me out there. Yeah. I don't want to get accidentally through to the paint. You can already see it's pretty smooth on there. So there's like hardly any streaks, but you can, for example, just like use the steel wool. This hasn't dried properly yet, guys. So please, but you can sand that down and make that pretty smooth. And obviously you're not going mad. This is just basically to buff it, This is buffing the Gator Hide more than anything else. Or you use those things, The green one is basically to get like a more of a flat finish. Use that. It also works fine. I'm just gonna do that in the area up here. So then you use some water, and let me grab a water bottle. Some water. And there's my Mr. bottle. Nobody moves. Just get some water, and then you can clean that off, especially when you work obviously with the steel wool. you clean it off nicely just to make sure that there's like nothing left from the steel or something like that. And then you can basically go over it again. You can see where it's been buffed up here. It's a little, as I've used the green one. Exactly, I've used the green one, and the green one is giving a little bit more of a flat surface. And then you can go nicely over it. And then you basically get like a finish, like, I'm gonna show you. This is the piece I've done last year. I'm gonna bring you a bit closer. That's the reason I have the here's my Mr. Bottle. Well, I had the, which I've done last year. So I'm gonna move this beauty over here. A lot of moving tonight, guys. But there you can see. You're gonna go flying again. So, do you see this? So this is like basically done in Gator Hide, and well, there's been like loads of cats jumping over it, and I mean, this is like an old piece anyway, but this is a pretty smooth and shiny surface. This is Gator Hide. So that's basically the steps I've done on there. Nothing else. I've basically moved that around like that. So I'm just gonna get something to sit on. Don't want to get you flying again. Come. Guys. So you can see Gator Hide is no magic. So thank you, Amber. So I hope I could give you a little bit of confidence of trying Gator Hide yourself, because I think it's the best top coat ever. Thank you, Joan. Thank you. I hope that it was, so it's sometimes a bit difficult. I'm German after all, to find all the right words. So I'm very happy that, some of you guys just helped me out with some of the expressions, because I sometimes think I'm just talking rubbish. But even so, I hope it all made sense. If you have any questions, guys, don't hesitate to contact me or any of the Dixie Belle ambassadors or something like that. Just check if I missed any questions. If I did, guys, I will come back. Nikki, how long do you have to wait for applying dark wax to apply Gator Hide? When I work with wax, I actually work with wax on that piece. I would wait also for 3 to 5 days. Talking about the Dixie Belle waxes, they are water-based. That works beautifully. With other waxes, I would be careful. But with the Dixie Belle waxes, that works fine. 3 to 5 days, and you're fine to go over it with any of the top coats. That works beautiful. So, Linda, makes it look so easy. Thank you. It is pretty easy, guys. So don't be scared. Make the best out of your furniture pieces and projects, and just try it out. So, Betsy, what order do you use black glaze and wax and Gator Hide? Glaze and wax, the order basically depends what you're going for. This is up to you. Also with the glaze, I would first put a top coat or a coat underneath anyway, even if I work with glazes. But if you use the glaze first or the wax first, I probably would use the glaze first and then accentuate it with the wax. And for me, the Gator Hide is definitely the last step, because it's supposed to seal everything in, that nothing happens to it. Wenn ich mit dem Pinsel über unebene Stellen auftrage, eher weniger nehme oder eher feucht? Eher weniger. Caroline, das ist immer so ein bisschen Fingerspitzengefühl. Also an so einem Stück hier ist das auch nicht so dramatisch, weil da hast du nachher auch nicht diese Streaks. No. The question was, somebody asked if they use a brush on rough surfaces, you know, if they should take less or more product. You know, I wouldn't use too much. I wouldn't saturate it, but on this area here, I wouldn't worry about streaks. You know, because it's not like a flat area, like a long flat area, like the top of a table or something like that, of a dresser. You can see how shiny that is. You know, I made it to a high gloss. So. Ja, Ute, den kannst du auch für den normalen Topcoat benutzen. Ja. So, Ute asked if she can also use the Gator Hide sponge for the normal top coats. Of course you can. Of course you can. You know, just works just as beautiful. Ja. Ah, Caroline wird es gleich testen. Karen is just going to try that. Perfect. So, no, before Gator Hide, Betsy. I would put it before Gator Hide. Gator Hide would, for me, always be the last step, you know, to seal everything in and nothing can happen to it. So, okay, guys. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope to help you out, and I wish you a great week. And I'll see you next Tuesday, guys. You take care. Bye-bye. Oh, and if you haven't done it yet, pop over to my page and leave me a like. That'll be great. Bye, guys. Thanks for being with me.